Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast blending soul and science-based strategies to empower pandemic moms like you, raising kindergarten-ready kids. I'm Cara Tyrrell, your host, a lifetime lover of littles, girl mom, early childhood educator, and conscious parenting coach who truly believes that how we connect and collaborate with our kids in the first 5 years is how we raise world-ready kids who will change this world. Today's guest is Miko Ballentine. She's the founder of Bright Littles, a company that makes tools to have fun, engaging conversations at home or in the classroom with kids. And her commitment to supporting kids comes from being a mom and realizing that she had a lot of struggles growing up and she wanted to do things differently. She is a modern parent, does not shy away from big topics, celebrates mistakes, tries everything, and is committed to building a kinder future generation of thoughtful leaders. And so I am very excited to bring you Tara. But before we dive in, I would love if you could do me a favor. Could you scroll on down, rate the show after you listen, and leave a review, ask a question, suggest a topic? This will help me know how to better serve you, who to bring in. It will also help friends find us, other moms who need to be hearing what we're talking about together. Tara, thank you so much for making some time to sit here and talk to us about talking, how we talk to our kids, the power of language, this modeling that we need to be doing, and the powerful effects it has on the skills that they are able to develop as they move into the world independently.
I'm excited to be here, and I love talking about this. It's such a powerful topic, and it's something that we need to be doing now, right now.
Yes. Yeah. So at Core 4 Parenting, we talk a lot about the Core 4 connectors, and one of them is open communication. And so the products that you make, these beautiful journals, set the foundation for that because caregiver and child work on it together. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is literally a case of a mom solving her own problem. I felt like all the products that I was able to find were they were skipping a step, and I couldn't find something that was, to your point, setting the foundation of what it means to be a kind, thoughtful human. What is a feeling? What do you do about a feeling? So it was like we were already talking about the feelings before we'd established what it actually is. When I started the company, my daughter was 5, and I was looking for something that was age appropriate for her and created a conversation so that I could teach her, but also understand what she knows, what she doesn't know, and support her. I needed to meet her where she was. But, when we talk to our kiddos just one-on-one, you don't get a lot out of them. And so I needed a tool. I needed something to create that moment, to create that game or that activity where she just was naturally opening and flowing with the information.
Right. It's that deep desire that we have. We want to hear from them. We want them to tell us truly what happened in their day and how they felt about it and if it could have gone differently. But we lead with, how was your day, right? We make it a conversation that kind of ends right there because we don't have the right tool. What have you found has been the biggest eye opener for you when you pulled together these resources and created a talking tool, a physical item that allows you to keep connecting with your child through the conversation?
Well, a lot of things. I would say, like, the top of my list is that it's something she asked to do, especially the conversation cards. And so it doesn't feel like mom's prying. It's a game, and she likes to share what she knows. It makes her feel good inside that she has these answers, and that when we work together at it, and I'm giving her my full attention when we're doing this. And so she likes that connection. It's also, I wasn't raised this way. A lot of us were raised in a different time where we didn't really talk about our feelings. We've all heard things like boys don't cry, or, girl push-ups, or, there's just all these genders established to things that don't need to have a gender, and that, the boys are strong and the girls are emotional. And so, am learning and applying as I'm going. And so I really wanted in this process, I feel like parents want to do this work. They want to prepare their kids, but they don't know where to start, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know what to say. And so it's really important. It was really important to me when creating these resources to have that support. And so the products are as much meant for the child as it is for the parent. And we have helpful call outs to prompt a time that maybe they felt a certain way, or to share, do you go to a therapist, or how you see or feel something. And so I'm a mom and I'm learning this, but I teamed up with a learning scientist and an educational engineer to create these products. And this is a conversation you and I have actually had. And they actually write textbooks. This is what they do, is they create content for kids. So I needed help. Mommy went and asked for help to create this product and these tools that I didn't find on the market that I needed myself.
Mommy went and asked for help. That is a really important statement. You needed to solve a problem so that you could engage better and get better results. But in general, as moms, especially of littles, right? When that information gathering is it's a little bit more tenuous because maybe they don't have a complete language yet. A lot of the listeners here, they have toddlers, and those toddlers have big emotions, but not a ton of language to say, I am feeling so disappointed right now. So having a tool, having a resource to open those conversations is really, really important. I know that your journals and your conversation cards start around 4 years old. What would you say to a mom who says, I have a 3-year-old, can I give it a go?
The answer is yes. I think that we have to adjust our expectation on the type of conversation that we're going to have with a 3-year-old versus 4, 5, 6, 7. And I had mentioned that I started this when Poppy was 5 and she's 7, and we're continuously doing the same product. But her ability to communicate and hold conversation and what she knows is so much more. So I think we have to adjust the expectation around what you're going to get out of the conversation. Whereas I think that practicing good communication and asking a child their opinion is great as soon as they have the ability to communicate. It's giving them respect. It's asking them how they feel. So 100%, I think that you can have these conversations at a much younger age. But I also think that you can have these conversations with a much older age. And during the pandemic, our family was in Australia, and so we were unable to see them. And so we had a FaceTime relationship with them, and we would do the conversation cards over FaceTime. And it was really eye-opening to share the baton of communication. And I think it's something that we want to teach our little ones, but we also need to be mindful and remember to also practice it as we get older. And so I find sometimes with our products that adults are like, are you sure these aren't for us? Because I do think that we forget to hold grace and space for others, and to hear opinions, and not to judge, and to understand where somebody is coming from, and to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
That is so important. And you're hitting on something really, really vital here, that as adults, we understand that we're in relationship with other people, whether it's a close family relationship or you're going through the grocery store and you're polite to the checkout person. You're having a relationship with people based on the way that you interact. Often, we don't view the way that we interact with our kids similarly. We are in relationship with them. And the way that we model it through respecting them, listening to them, asking for their opinions, letting them have their turn and talking with them, not to them. These are the skills that set them up to be someone who can be in a really healthy relationship with the other people around them, like their future teachers.
Absolutely. For me, it's about preparing her. And there are topics that we do cover in the journals that are hard. And I wish this wasn't the world that we are in, but we have to be brave enough to ask these questions because we need to prepare our kids. For example, in our safety journal, we do talk about guns. We ask you to have a responsible gun conversation. What do you do if you find one? We help parents on how you would ask if there's a gun on a play date, and then what would you say? I'm not asking your politics. I'm asking you to have that conversation. In our conversation cards, we ask who can touch your body. There's some really important foundational conversations that we need to have to prepare them. And I get asked a lot, like, why in the world would you have these conversations with little ones? And it's because she likes me. Let's be honest. Like, she's 7. I'm still mommy. She still likes me. And I am her source of information right now. And I want to make this talking about mental health and feelings, speaking up, boundaries. I want to make this a part of her foundation, a part of who she is, because in the not so distant future, tears streaming down my eyes, I'm not going to be the only person in her ear. Her friends are going to have a strong opinion in her life. Social media is going to have, there's going to be all these outside influences. And I hope to still be one of the sounding boards, but I just want to make sure that I prepare her and I give her all the tools that she needs as she deals with cyberbullying, as she deals with sex, as she deals with relationship struggle between, like, it's all coming, whether I want it or not. But just, I want to give her the tools and teach her how to use them instead of trying to open that door. And I want to get ahead of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And this is why the minute you and I started speaking to each other, I said, we get each other, because we believe in proactive solutions that help us from falling into predictable struggles. And I mean, history repeats itself over and over and over. We know that our toddlers will become school-age kids. We know that our school-age kids will become tweens and then teens. And we also know, like you said, when they are itty bitty, we hang the moon. Everything we say, everything we do, the empathy and compassion that we lead these conversations with is how they learn to ask us questions and how they feel safe and secure enough to open the conversations, even when it's hard.
Yeah.
And I just love that you have picked this as your mission. I love that you're making it accessible to everybody of all ages and shifting some of the mindsets around it.
This is my love note to my daughter. I had my daughter late in life. I was almost 40 when I had her, and I want to be around forever, but I'm not going to. I think we have this amazing opportunity to raise kind, thoughtful, future bright leaders. And I think the world changed and the tools that we need as parents didn't. I remember junior high it was brutal. And, you're trying to figure out who you are and what's cool. And like, there's just so much going on. And that is without me having, the internet and social media. And there's so much more that our kids are going to deal with. And the least I can do is be brave enough to face it with her and to prepare her, because it's not rolling back. Like, it's just so much harder. I don't have words because it's really terrifying.
Yes.
To raise a little girl in this world right now. And I don't want to live in fear. I want to live in hope. And so Bright Littles is like my hope. Trying the best I can to help other parents yeah, so just lead with hope is what I'm trying to do.
And you're so right. You're so right. The world changed. Our tools didn't. Access to everything in the world is now available to everybody at any time. And the world literally changed, right? We're coming out of a pandemic and it hit pause on a lot of developmental spaces that we were all in, whether you were 2, 12, 20, or 90, like it really hit pause on any type of forward motion we were making in our lives. And so what I love about what I'm hearing from you is that it completely aligns with my listeners who have a deep desire to be collaborative parents, right? They want to work and grow and learn together with their children. And honestly, that foundation, that makes you problem solvers as a team. And if we have these conversations with our kids when they're 3 and 5 and 7 and 9, we will have a 12-year-old who comes home and says, Joey asked me today if I wanted to try a cigarette. I remember when we talked about how that's really not a good choice for our bodies and how it adds chemicals and et cetera, but safety to come home and share that with you. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Hey, Cara here, just popping in to ask you a quick question. Are you dealing with meltdowns? Of course you are. You're a toddler mom. What if there was a tool that could help you manage your own emotions and triggers better so you can help your child return to center faster inside the meltdown moment? I am so excited to share my free guide with you. I've even recorded audio files, 5 mindful mantras for conscious moms managing toddler meltdowns. Grab it today with the link in the show notes, then download the audios and manage meltdowns consciously. And now I'll bring you back to the rest of the episode.
And I don't think that we fully understand the impact the pandemic has had on the different age groups, and especially for the children that are little, 3, 4, 5, that's where it started. That is, as we both know, that's the crucial developmental, social emotional learning. And we're just starting to get information on how our children can't read body language, and they are struggling in a school setting because they've been at home. And I know my daughter has had a lot of separation anxiety, and we go to a family therapist and we're working through this. But a big one for me is that the pandemic forced my daughter to be on screen time a lot earlier than I would have wanted. And her kindergarten was on Zoom in Spanish. That was crazy. But it didn't roll back. And so now that my daughter is in 2nd grade, we are in a situation where she doesn't have a teacher. She's got substitutes, and she is given free time to be on YouTube Kids in school on a screen time. And she's not even allowed to be on YouTube Kids at home. So it's a real push-pull in that the schools are really using social media. And so I'm having to deal with that. So these things that I thought were a little bit further away are actually happening right now. And the next journal, we're 90% done, is digital citizenship. And so again, let's not go in and talking about all the things that could happen and the problems, but what does it mean? Going back to the foundation, what does it mean to be online? What does it mean to be a kind, thoughtful person online? And what does it mean to be how people should treat you? And so the next journal is all about digital citizenship. And it is just literally this super foundational, before we let our kids jump into the pool, we go over rules, right? But we've kind of forgotten about that somewhere along the lines with like mental health and whatever. We just let them jump in the pool and then we're like, oh, wait a minute. So let's back it up. And again, like I can't change that. It is a fact that her life is going to have internet and all that in it. Like I can't change it. It's literally happening at school. So what is that foundational work I need to, what's the tools? What does she need? What's the language? What are her like, her warning signs, that this isn't right. No one should ask you this. So I literally write down what scares the poop out of me. And then I try to figure out how to make it age appropriate and write a journal about it.
It's amazing. So self-aware, so knowing that not just your kiddo, but all these kids need this. They, every generation has their legacy, right? They're born into it. And the COVID generation has, and the kids who were directly impacted by that time stop have kind of a double legacy, right? They're part of this experience that no one ever expected to have. Plus, they're really our first official digital citizens. That's all they'll ever know. And so you're right, we have to be incredibly aware of how we tackle this and do it with intention, like we do everything else. And I'm thrilled that that's the next journal that's coming out.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's hard. I have, the research you have to do and the information I learn, it's hard to not never send her to school, never like I'm, want to just put her in bubble wrap, stick her up in her room, maybe I'll let her out at 30. It's hard to go there and to learn this stuff. But again, I have to be brave. And Glennon Doyle says we can do hard things. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. But, I didn't grow up like this. And honestly, like maybe this is even a love note to myself. I needed these tools when I was little. We moved, I don't even know how many times, but like, I don't know, 15, 20 times before I graduated high school. I was always the new girl. And at times in my life, I was actually a bully. I was like, I was protecting myself before somebody could, I had a wall up, I was not going to let somebody make fun of me. And, being the new girl when you're in junior high and high school is just awful and scary. And, like you want to just be, you don't want any attention on you. And, the teacher's like, stand up, the new girl is here, and being horrified. And so, funny enough, as I say, like parents are like, maybe this was actually a little bit for me. It's been therapy for me. I've had to unpack some baggage on, the way that I felt. And I want to give, I can't say we'll never move. I can't say like, she's not going to have a situation with a friend or someone that's going to bully her, but I can do my best to give her those tools because life happens. And so it's been really therapeutic and I've really stepped into my own, and I can truly say like, I'm really proud of the mother that I am, and that I want to empower other parents to feel really proud of that. And I make a lot of mistakes, but I've learned also to say, I'm sorry to her. And just like little teeny tiny things like that of respecting her. And so it's been an interesting journey to say.
Oh my gosh, I love your love notes. I love your love note to Poppy, to yourself, to us, because you're sharing it with us. And, we say all the time here at Core 4, we're raising world-ready kids who will change the world. But what we don't say, but is also true, is that we are changing ourselves, right? That these skills are learnable. That with a growth mindset, we can grow into skills that we didn't have an opportunity to. And those neural pathways can always be shifted. So it's a win-win, right? Absolutely. We are using these tools that you're providing and the other things that we're out there doing as conscious, mindful moms. And we're shifting our inner core, impacting our kids' young selves. And together, we truly are going to be the movement that makes a difference.
Yeah, I think there's a tipping point. One of the things that I want to find the right messaging and the language with parents is let's not wait for there to be a problem. And I used the scenario, this was told to me, are you a vitamin or a painkiller? And if something's happening in like a painkiller situation, like where your child's being bullied or suicidal thoughts or something like that, like you throw everything at it, right? And how do we move out of that mindset of it getting to the pain point, of it getting to the problem, and to start to prioritize the preparation? So it's not a problem. I don't feel the sense of urgency around it. I'm busy and I don't do it. And I hear all the time from parents, caregivers of children that are in high school, I wish there was a product like this. I wish I would have done this. And my hope is, how do we start this movement of not waiting? And that is one of the things that stresses me out, is to make this important, to make this a necessity, to make this a part of your everyday life. And I know you've looked at the journals. I can't make it easier without doing it for you. Like I'm asking you to take 5 minutes to do one activity. And I just wish collectively we would see this as important, because I'm not saying it's smooth sailing. Like, stuff is going to happen, but I think it'll be a lot better if we talk about it, and we at least give kids the tools, and we let them know that they can talk to somebody, and we give them these skill sets. I don't know. And so that's a struggle I have, that I keep up at night thinking, how can we shift this conversation? How, as a society as a whole, can we prioritize mental health conversations early? How we can prioritize boundaries and speaking up, and what it means to be kind and to teach empathy as a priority, and not try to solve the problem. Does that make sense?
Oh my gosh, yes.
And a lot of words, but
I'm up at night thinking about how to promote proactive solutions as well. I'll tell you, as a young kid, me personally, I live in a tiny town in rural Vermont, and we don't really have a lot of stoplights. There's one stoplight in the entire town, but there was a location where I always felt there should be one. I just thought it was insanely dangerous. And I would say to people, why do we have to wait for there to be a fatal crash before they put up the stoplight that could have prevented it? That's the way my brain has always thought. But it is not always an intuitive way, because we're so overwhelmed, so busy, such in society, so much to do. The to-do list is actually never done. And it just kind of shields us from being able to have that clear vision. So here's what I recommend for moms who are out there listening. Whatever age your child is, put them in their first situation that you would be so upset about that you would throw everything at it. Visualize the fast forward. The first time they came home and said they were bullied, the first time that you got a phone call and they weren't where they said they were going to be, the first time they get pulled over by the police, whatever it might be. Visualize it. And then work backwards to, what are the conversations I can be having right now that are age appropriate, that will allow them to have better presence of mind and make better choices when they're in it.
Yeah, I think it's good for all ages. I mean, we wait till there's a health problem. We wait until, and I get it. I do it too. It's so easy. But yeah, we just have such an opportunity, and it's like we know better. I just hope we all do better. Our kids are our future leaders. Like, we have an opportunity to do better for them.
And this is the tipping point. You said it, right? This is the tipping point where we get to decide, are we going to do better so that this world can become a better place? Or are we just going to sit by and let it continue the slide that we see happening?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
your
honesty, your transparency, your wisdom, your research, your products. Tell people where they can find you and how they can get this.
We are available at brightlittles.com. and you can access all of our social media through there. One thing that's super important to me is that we also have a space to access outside of the product conversations, which, there's breaking news and you think like, how would I talk to my kid about this? We have to remember they're in classrooms and they overhear things. So on our free SMS platform, we do tackle topics that are literally happening on the news, and sharing ideas and challenges there. So you can get a free taste of how we operate. And, I'm a small business, and it is such a hard space to be in. And so word of mouth is everything, sharing with your friend group, your mom group, your school group about Bright Littles. Like, word of mouth is absolutely everything for us right now. So yeah, brightlittles.com and spread the word. And, behind this is a mom. So trying to fulfill her dreams as well.
Ugh, too good. We'll make sure we have that link in the show notes and people can go ahead and check it out. Thanks again, Tara, for taking time to join us. I look forward to seeing what other genius journals come out of that beautiful mind.
Thank you.
Do you love listening to this podcast, but wish that you could see us while we're talking and engaging and emoting? Well, I have great news for you. We now have an opportunity for you to join our video membership access. For only $7 a month, every single guest episode, unedited, no ads, and all the wonderful things that we say and do are available to you on our Patreon account. Hop on over with the link in the show notes and choose the level that you'd like to support the show. Again, for $7 a month, all video access is available to you. You can go back and forth throughout the episode. You can make sure to highlight your favorite parts. Watch it over and over if it really resonated with you to get those strategies and those intentional language just down the way you want. Would love to have you in there to better support you in your journey of conscious and collaborative parenting. Thank you, Mama, for making time for yourself and prioritizing your parenting, listening to this podcast. Until the next episode, stay mindful and proactive as you transform the toddler years.